Today's video, we're going to talk about DMCA use, what this is, and how you could take down any website from the Google search results using these phony takedown requests that people are filing against good honest, legitimate small business owners, big companies as well, to just take them off the Google search results. The reason why I'm making this video here today is not to encourage more people to do this, even though you technically could run out there and do this. Anybody could do this to anybody, practically speaking. And not to say that it's permanent, you can fight back, but there's legitimately companies being taken completely out of business when this has happened to them, so you should be aware of this. So if it does happen to you, you know how to respond quicker, and so that doesn't happen to you. Takedown request is as the internet had evolved and come along, there was a problem with copyrighted information being stolen online. Somebody would just go to a website that had a really good article that is, let's say, ranking better or ranking well on Google or has a lot of internet traffic driven to it, and they would just simply go to that page, copy all the content, post it on their own website, and then they would then hijack the interest from that content, essentially stealing it from the author of that content. And so what they did, and because it's so hard to take someone to court for copyright infringement, the laws developed in which they came up with an easy system to, if somebody's infringing on your copyright, that you could get that material taken off the web with very little effort. That is, basically contacting the website where it's hosted on, whether that be Google, or Google doesn't really host information, but they point to it, and therefore they do host copyrighted information. That made it easy to. There was a system essentially voted and put into place to contact the website where copyrighted information was to get it taken down easily with one simple request. And with that, because it's so easy to obviously request it's taken down, it's easy for somebody to maliciously now take your content down without having to necessarily go through court to prove it. So it's a double-edged sword. It's now easy to get someone to not copy your information and get them taken down, but it's easier for someone to take your website down once they've stolen content from you, just to simply file that request against you and have your content on your website or your whole website taken down, whether that be on Google or another website, your material taken off of that website, and the laws are such now, or should I say not laws. Sorry if I may be misspeaking about this. It could certainly be the law, but from what I understand, with the standards of the internet, every website now has to have a way to file one of these DMCA requests on the website, so that if somebody is posting copyrighted information on that website, the owner of the copyrighted information can go ahead and get that material taken down through the standardized process that they have set up for anybody who has a copyright claim to get that material taken down quickly and easily. Every business has to have this process. Sorry if I don't sound totally informed here, but certainly I think it is the law, but I don't know for sure if there's actual laws on the books. All I know is all the big websites have this request form where you can file that DMCA request to get the copyrighted material taken down if you can prove that you're the legitimate owner of that content. So with that said, again, someone can do this to you, and they can do it to you on Google. They can contact Google through the contact form that's available for anybody to report copyrighted material being on Google. And then Google, by law or through these standards that were set up, has to take it down. It's not a matter of, maybe they'll decide to take it down, maybe they won't. They have to take it down. And they don't have time to review every request because there's millions of requests every year. Maybe they could do it, but they don't want to, and they're not going to, and their shareholders don't want to pay for that, so they're not going to. And so basically anybody can actually pretend like they're the copyright holder on certain material, and Google is not going to care to verify that information. They're just going to comply with the law, take it down, and essentially you're guilty until proven innocent. You've got to fight for your way to get that material back on Google if you want it to get back on Google. So anyway, with that said, the process is, if your competitor, let's say, wanted to get your website taken off of Google, okay? All they're going to have to do this, it's scary how easy this is. They got your website. They're going to take the content of your website, some content that's on your homepage. If that's what ranks the most, it's just going to be your homepage. And they're going to rip. This goes by page, not site-wide. So page that ranks best. They're going to rip the material off of that page and then republish that same material on another website. It could be a website that they own, or it could just be on another website like Tumblr or anything out there, really. And then at that point in time, they're going to go to Google's DMCA request form to report that the material that's on your own website that you own is you're infringing on the copyright of that material that's on your website. You're basically saying that material on your website is stolen. You stole it from the original copyright owner, which that copyright owner actually legitimately, it was the opposite. They stole it from you. And so then they'll file this request, and then, basically, you're going to get a notification if you have Google Search Console set up, which is important why you have this set up, so you can get a notification when this happens to you. So if your website is going to be taken off of Google, you'll know about it in real time, effectively. But if you don't, it's just going to disappear off of Google, and it may be a week or two that your sales are down before you even realize what's going on. And which is, like I said, the reason why I wanted to make this video, because I want people to be aware of this so it doesn't harm their business too much when people do this to them. But anyway, what you'll have to do is file an appeal with Google and say, hey, no, this content on my web page, on my homepage that ranks on Google is actually my content, and I could prove it. And the way that you basically can prove this is through archive.org or the Wayback Machine. You could actually prove that content on your website was there before the content because when you file the DMCA request, you're going to be asked as to where this content, the original content, if you will, where it's at. So before they can say that you stole their content and that's it, they're going to ask, okay, where's the web page this content that this person stole is located, right? And on a Wayback Machine, you could see that content was only there for so long. More recently than the content on your web page, so they can verify that content was on your website first, and then therefore they know that claim is bogus, and then they'll reverse that decision to take you off of Google legitimately. And yes, your rankings will go back for the most part the way that they were. It's not going to go down, and then you're going to have to build them back up. But during that how many days, that 10 plus days, while they are going to review your request, your website's just going to stay down. So the quicker you can respond, the less damage is going to happen. But then what's really malicious is what these people will do is they'll do it to you, and then you'll get your website back up, and then they're just going to do it to you again. And you're going to have to fight that one and do it again, and it's going to be a pain. If somebody wants you down and they throw enough resources at it, they could do this over and over and over again to you, which makes you wonder, well, legitimately, what can I do to stop this? And as far as I still know, you can't necessarily do anything to completely stop this. You can go copyright your information, but even then, and have documented, a copyright on the text on your website, which will certainly help you when you file the appeal. But to prevent the, takedown from happening to you in the first place, I don't know necessarily of a way. Which, by the way, what I recommend to you is to say, don't simply solely rely on one traffic source to drive traffic to your website and your brand and get sales. The worst thing you can do is rely, and if more than half of your business is coming from one source of traffic, you're in a really precarious situation regardless of what it's coming from. If you got it all coming from ads, somebody can click fraud your ads and knock you out for a few weeks or a few months until you know how to deal with it. If you have organic rankings, DMCA requests can take you down and knock you out. If you got ads from Facebook, you can get people that can click fraud you there. Even though it's harder, they still can do it, especially if you do retargeting. And then, the only thing that's truly, if you will, ironclad, so to say, anymore is offline marketing, because it's not so easy to take somebody over. Because even whatever other traffic you have drive into your site, they can screw with you by trying to hack your website, overload the server, drive a bunch of fake traffic to it. The server, the website goes down, or they send a bunch of fake calls through the phone to bog down your sales people's time. If you're using Google local service ads, the thing with that nowadays is that competitor will put fake calls to the system and make your ads unprofitable that way. So nothing's completely foolproof. What you need to do is when you start making money, instead of just, start spending it on pointless stuff, cars, houses, whatever, you need to spend most of that money to get another channel going, and then another channel and another channel. As much as that is not going to be popular advice to most people to hear, once you get hit on that main traffic source and you don't have now the money to get the second traffic source going because you're already losing money, it might already just be too late and you're screwed already. The time to build the second traffic source is when you are profitable. The average person is going to say, oh, I'm making money now, I can sit back, I can relax now. That is the dumbest way to think about growing your business and maintaining your business as you can go, because you're either growing or you're dying. If you're not growing, it's just a matter of time before you get whacked, because there's too much crap like this going on in the first place. And things that work today just sometimes don't work next year, and things change too fast. The platforms change too fast. But anyway, there's many unscrupulous ways a competitor can take you out just on Google itself. Google, I've seen where we had clients where, in addition to these fake DMCA takedown requests to get our client off of Google that we've seen, why I made this video, I've also had clients that had their business marked as closed on Google My Business. If you mark a business closed enough from different user accounts, your Google My Business that pops up when you type in your business name, that shows up on the right-hand part of your screen, it's going to say you're out of business, and you're naturally not going to show up in the 3-pack anymore. And if you're not paying attention, your sales are going to be down, and you're not going to know to look for it. And you may eventually find out about it, but after losing, 30 grand worth of business in the 6 weeks it took you to find it out, and even when you get it back online, they can do it to you again and again and again, just like with this DMCA request thing. They can also send tons of dummy links at your website to get you taken off Google that way. That is the old negative SEO. Still to this day, you can't. It used to be something when you had backlinks that you would build to your website to build up your SEO rankings. You would just, the keyword you want to rank for, you would make the hyperlink the keyword. So if you wanted to rank for LED grow lights, let's say, you would make the hyperlink when it's on the website, LED grow lights, because Google would look at the description of the link as to what it is, what the purpose of the link is, and then if you got a bunch of links with the anchor text on that link being that particular keyword, it would use it as a very strong signal that you should rank for that keyword. So everybody started doing it, and then all of a sudden one day Google, through this Penguin update in like 2013, anybody that was over like 15% of all their backlinks saying one certain keyword, it would then completely wipe you off the face of Google for that keyword because you're over optimized. Well, naturally, now people can just, if they don't want you to rank for a certain keyword anymore, they can blast your website with links with that particular anchor text on it, and now you're screwed. So that's another way that you can be wiped off of Google. I bet in that case only for one keyword, but they could do it obviously to a bunch of keywords. They do it to enough. Now you're out of business because you have all this overhead, and now you only got this much revenue, and you can't survive like that for too long. You're just out of business. Which is why I mentioned before, you need to be using the profit you're making, 80% of it, to reinvest into other traffic sources. Until you got 10 or 20 different ways to generate business, you have no business spending all that profit and just assuming nothing's going to happen to you. Also, obviously you can be taken off of Google just like with what we're talking about, these phony DMCA requests. So if somebody wants to screw with you enough, and there will be in some of these niches where you can make millions and millions and millions in profit a year, you're going to have somebody at some point in time that wants to take your money away from you. There's too many smart people out there who understand and research this kind of thing, can go into a market that looks lucrative, knock out all the people that are there, and not even have to, because it's cheaper than just making a product or service that's better in that category. Click fraud is cheap to do if you just know how to do it. Or fairly cheap. Submitting a DMCA request, this is literally, if I wanted to do it, if I had $500, I could put it through a DMCA request on somebody. And that's like, plenty of money to do it. And then once I could document it, send it to somebody to do over and over again for me, and then every time the website goes up, they just do it again and again and again. So, anyway, if you do want to have some defense ahead of time, you're super paranoid about what I just told you, the best thing to do is actually copyright the text on your website so that when it eventually happens to you, that is, if it happens, obviously, you've got proof right away that you are the original copyright owner of the text on your website. Now, that doesn't help you too much necessarily because when they go ahead and copy the content from your website, and put it on a website they own or a different website, they're going to try to also backdate the content. So like they'll take the copy on your website, put it on a website they own that looks like a news site, and the date on that article is going to be like from 15 years ago. So they could be like, look, this has been here 15 years ago already. So even though you got a copyright on the content on your site from 5 years ago, it's still not going to help you. But at the very least, it's going to be somewhat helpful when you go ahead and you try to rebuttal the DMCA request at that time versus not having it copyrighted at all. Because if you don't have the material copyrighted, and they do, hypothetically speaking, then it can be even tougher, which that can actually also happen to you. Or they don't just repost it on their site, but they go copyright it, and then you have that to deal with as well on top of everything else. So if you want to prevent this from happening, copyright your content officially, even though that's not going to be a real answer to really block this from happening to you. And then beyond that, you just have to sign up for Google Search Console so you know if this happens to you, you can jump on and respond to it right away with your copyright that you have on all the content on your website, and just stay on it. And then maybe, hopefully, when the person does this to you and they realize their website only goes down for like 12 days each time, they maybe just give up, so to say. Because ultimately, here's the kind of the silver lining with all this. When somebody, like I mentioned, because usually the people that are doing this to you, it's not just going to be like somebody who hates your guts personally. It's going to be somebody who's a really savvy business person who understands how to do web marketing really well, and they enter a market and they do this to everybody. So it's not like a personal thing. But what they do is they do it to everybody knowing that they're only going to spend so much money on this and so much effort on this. And whatever is going to work 90% of the time, they're satisfied with that. Be the 10% guy that actually isn't a total mark, and then you're not going to really have the problem that everybody else is going to have in the market. That is, they want to be able to do this to somebody and then see them be off of Google for the next 90 days at least. When you're up and back in 10 days again, well, maybe they just they don't care to In other words, better way to put this is they're going to do this to everybody in the space. They're going to have a bunch of sales, and then maybe eventually they'll come back 90 days later and they'll try to do it again. Meanwhile, you're gone and up in 10 more days, whereas everybody else had their stuff taken down for a long time because that technique with clueless people would keep them down for a long time. It only took you down for 10 days, so it didn't take your business out and it took everybody else's business out. And with that, after a while, everybody's going to be knocked out. And so they're just going to stop doing it and you've survived it basically, if that makes sense. The click fraud in that world is the same exact thing. The people doing click fraud will do it to everybody in the space. They'll do it in a way that's not totally blockable, but will knock out 98% of the people. You just got to understand how to be in the 2%, and then you not have an issue. They're not going to try to get 100% effectiveness with these strategies because it's too expensive. They just want to be able, if they can knock out 90% of the competition, it's already enough to make tons of money. It's good enough. Because they can always go into another niche. They don't need 100% effectiveness. So in terms of the motivation of the people doing it to you, you just have to not be a total target. And for the most part, it won't at least, yes, it'll be annoying. Yes, it'll lose revenue from it. But it won't actually take you out. It won't take you out completely, so you'll survive to do business another day. So with that said, if you have any questions about anything I covered here today, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. You can ask me any advertising related question that you'd like, because that's what this channel is about. And I'll try to use my 15 years of experience to try to help you along the best of the way that I can, just as a thank you for watching the channel and helping the channel grow. If you are serious about making millions of dollars running your ads for your business every year and want to know how to do that, this is the channel you want to subscribe to, as I promise you there's no better, more relevant information that you're going to find on this channel, as it's coming, all the information on this channel is coming from myself and the ad testing that I'm doing 40 hours a week for our dozens of clients at our advertising firm to find out exactly what works and what doesn't work on all these primary ad platforms. And I give it to you on a silver platter for you to be able to use for free, which that is unique in that 99% of the information you find online about how to make money with ads is totally generic, doesn't help you, or it's given to you by somebody who gets that information from somebody else. They don't actually run ads with themselves, or they run a couple ads, but not, 50 different accounts at any given time. And therefore the information's crap. And most of the core sellers and people that are making money off of advertising revenue on YouTube and whatnot, they're not actually running ads. So the information is just basically pointless to get. And even worse, will lead you completely on the wrong path. So you should subscribe to this channel because of that, and you should subscribe now. Also, you can find my blog. I also have a blog on my site about PPC, about running ads online to make millions of dollars running ads for your business. You can find that at guaranteedppc.com/blog. The blog, whereas the channel here that I have for you has more overarching information, general ideas about what works, the blog has step-by-step instructions to use specific strategies that we know are proven to work, with screenshots, with the whole shebang. If you like the channel, you're going to like the blog as well, as even more useful, if you will, to most of you guys watching, even more so than even the channel is here. So you should check that out as well. If you're looking for somebody to do the heavy lifting for you, the work to get you the results on your advertising account that you have, to advertise your brand, this is exactly what we do for clients at our advertising agency. And we do not take a fee from our clients until we can lift the profitability of their ads a certain minimum amount that we promise the client up front. And that amount is in excess of what our fee actually is. So we're getting paid out of the additional profit we bring the client up front. We're the only agency out there that does anything like that. The only catch is we don't work with just any client. We got to know we can get great results with your stuff before we agree to work on your stuff. But if you want to see if we can work together, I'll give you a free analysis if you reach out to me at my firm at guaranteeppc.com. If you're not looking to work with an ad agency per se, we also sell ad templates. In the last 10 years of running this firm, I've worked in over 100 different niche markets, of which, if we've gotten the results already in your niche market, we already went through the hard work of figuring out the best ads, landing pages, campaigns that work in your niche market in a different geographic area, you'd do yourself a huge favor just purchasing the templates that we know get a set amount of results in your niche market and copy and paste those into your account. Get the same results we're getting with none of the work and none of the money we had to spend to figure out what exactly works in your market. If you would like to see if we worked your market like that and what we charge for those templates, you can reach out to my firm at guaranteeppc.com as well. And we've got people that use these templates, by the way. If you want to start a new business, that's the best, easiest way to start. You can sell a product that we know already sells in country A and sell it in country B, or start a lead generation business where you're selling leads using one of our templates that already generates leads at a very low cost already, which is a great passive income business idea, by the way. But anyway, if you're interested in any of those opportunities, you can also reach out to me as well. But with that said, I'll wrap everything up with that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.